Tired of myself, tired of this town.
Eminent Waste of Time, episode 86. I'm Chad, and the roads suck here in Indy. They got potholes the size of the Grand Canyon in here. It is Friday afternoon. I am just leaving work, and I'm heading to the MWXC track. They're having some issues with getting the PA system set up the way they wanted to. Sorry, camera adjustment. So Sam and Andy sent me text messages, asked if I could come out and take a look at it. So I am heading there. Hey, Mr. Cop, ignore me. So I'm heading out there to try and work on that. From what I hear, the track is good so far. We also have a chance of rain today. Not so great. We had rain last night, but I guess the track didn't get a whole bunch. We'll see. It's just starting to rain on me right now, so hopefully it all just backs away and we have a good race weekend. I'll update you more when I have more. See you guys. Just got done out at the track. Got the speakers, well, the sound system. Sorry, I got a hair under my glass. It was driving me nuts. Got the sound system set up. Got all that done. Found the issue. You guys will like this one if you're, I don't know, a nerd like me, whatever. So, there is an FM transmitter we have. Shh, quiet, don't tell the FCA, Federal Communications, FCC, Federal Communications something or another. Don't tell the people who do the radio bits. Anyway, we have an FM transmitter out there so we can broadcast. This weekend we're on 99.3. But what had happened was where the power port was on the FM transmitter, the ground pin for it had bent down just enough to where it wasn't making good contact. So Sam couldn't get it to power on, and they couldn't figure out what it was. It's just these little things that'll bite you. So anyway, got that all done. Tomorrow morning I have to go to my daughter's soccer tournament. And then after that is over, I'm going to take off and head back up to the racetrack. And Andy asked me if I could do some track sweep this weekend. I should be able to, assuming nothing else pops up. But yeah, that'll, oh great, road detour. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'll do some track sweep if I can, and that'll help them out. And then I'll be there to get video, pictures, all that fun junk for the side-by-sides. Busy. Always busy. Back again. Heading to the racetrack. Going to track sweep. You guys can see the four-wheeler in the bed of my truck. Yeah. It's easier just tossing the bed of the truck than it is to put it up on the trailer and drag a trailer around. Well, it's easier to unload and load in the trailer, but I'll take that little bit of inconvenience for not having to drag the trailer. So, yep, man, the weather's great out. It's actually a little warm, but I'm not going to complain about that. It's like 85 degrees. We didn't get, I didn't get any rain at my house that they were talking about the possibility of storms in the evening and overnight. Just didn't get it at my house. When I was out at the track yesterday, they didn't have any of the rain at that point, and I don't believe they got any of the rain at all. So I think it should be good. So what's that going to mean for track conditions? Well, the open sections, I would suspect, by the time the side-by-sides run, are going to be a little dusty. The spots like in the field where the track is, once it gets beat down, the grass gets thrown off of it and everything else, it's going to be a little bit dusty. It's not going to be bad dust. And this location is historically very dusty. It's the one, where was it, in 2017, I think it was. a kid on a dirt bike was riding and the dust was really, really bad. And another kid came up at full speed. So let me start that again. Another kid was riding a dirt bike in the dust, and he had slowed down because the dust was really bad. Another racer, was coming up behind him and was not slowed down for the dust. Probably should have been, but I mean, it's rider's discretion at that point. So he was not slowed down, and he actually rear-ended the first rider who was slowed down. And what they think happened, or pretty sure happened, was the second dirt bike's foot pegs, he had some aftermarket ones on that were extra grippy, and to get extra grippy dirt bike pegs are basically just really gnarly teeth on them. And that caught the rider in front's leg and ripped it open to the bone. So I was track sweeping at that point, and I actually came up on it. I wasn't too far away. Me and another track sweep got there right at about the same time, and we held his leg shut for him while the medics came and they got an ambulance. They thought they were going to have to airlift him, and they actually had a helicopter in the air, but the too high winds to get the helicopter set down. We had a landing zone prepped and everything else. So, all that to say, this track is historically dusty in the tops of the fields, and this property itself is actually, let me get around this corner and I can use my other hand to help show, but this property is historically like two tops of fields and then a valley in between. So the tops of the fields will dry out really quick. The bottoms in the valley part will stay wet, and that's what it looked like it was yesterday. No amount of dryness for today is going to stop that bottom from being wet. It just holds it a long time. The creek was easily a foot deeper than I've seen it in the past, so yeah, it's just feeding all that. Now that'll make for some great pictures and great videos, but it makes for less than ideal race conditions. So let's talk a little bit about how do you prep for different race conditions, or how do I prep for different race conditions based on the different properties. So most all of our properties around this area, we have a lot of clay in this area. So there are a few, and they try to run those early in the year that are sand. And those sand ones can kind of hold up to the moisture a little bit better because it drains it away. But this is not one of those. This is clay. So how do you prep for the different conditions? For dry conditions, there isn't a whole lot. I always kind of make sure filters are extra clean, because you know you're going to be sucking a lot of dust into those filters and packing them up. I make sure that everything is greased well. I always do that dry or wet whenever I'm racing, and check all the fluids, but especially when it's dry, it'll keep that dust and dirt from creeping in there. Amazingly enough, I always find that dust and dirt gets into we'll say an A-arm bushing or something like that. Dust gets in easier than wet material. Normally if it's wet, it's sticking together with other things, and it's not a big enough space to pull all the stuff in. So prepping for dry conditions, I'll also if I have like dust face shields. I didn't bring any with me today, but I'm not racing. I'll grab one of those and I can throw it on when I put my helmet on. I'll have it on before, and then I'll pull it down and then strap the helmet down with that on, and it'll kind of suck it up to my chin. It acts like it's a human air filter is what it acts like. Because during the race, we only race for an hour, but during that race, you're going to suck in enough stuff. If you don't have it and it's a dusty track, you're not going to be breathing so well at the end. I mean, you'll still breathe. You can breathe through your mouth and everything else, but it'll make your life a lot better, and you'll be blowing dirt and mud out your nose for the next 2 days if you don't have that in dusty conditions. Or if you have pumper helmets, then that does it too, but not a lot of people run pumpers. I get that. So that's one of the things that I do to prep for that. For wet conditions, goggles, man, that is super important. Make sure that you have, I always bring an extra pair of goggles at least, so that I can swap and I'll pitch them in the glove box. There's not much you can do. You just do your best to keep the mud off of your eyes. Some guys will drive with one hand and shade the mud from their goggles in the sections that they can. It's not always possible though. So I always load goggles up with fresh roll-offs. I don't care if I only pulled it 4 times in the last race. I load up with fresh roll-off canister, because the way I see it is, if I pulled it more than I thought if I pulled that more than I thought I had in the last race, and I get out there and it's nasty conditions, you're gonna wish you had them. And that roll-off, let's see, for the Scott Prospects, which are generally what I run, and that's the wider 50mm film, I think most of the time the roll-off, each little film canister, which is 50 pulls of the cord, is, I don't know, 50 cents or something like that. For 50 cents, it's not worth not being able to see. I would much rather have my full vision and visibility and do that than get out there, wish I had it, be without goggles, and now I'm, pulling the goggles off and tossing them to the side and getting mud splattered in my face, because I wanted to save that 50 cents. It's the little things that'll bite you. A lot of times in the race, it's the little things that just get you, like, you didn't check that bolt or whatever. You didn't Loctite it because, I just didn't have any Loctite, it'll be fine. It's those little things that will bite you when that bolt backs out and it now destroys $1,000 worth of parts, or even if it just takes you out of the race and doesn't destroy anything else. You wish you would have just Loctited that. You wish you would have just gone to the store and got the Loctite that you needed, or whatever. Or the nut, the self-locking nuts, they've loosened up because they've been off and on so many times. You thought, it'll be fine for this one. Just go get the nut that you need. So, now, this race location, how do you prep for this one? So we have what I'm going to guess, and this is all speculation at this point until actual race time. I'm going to guess you're going to have dry and dust in the fields, and then you're going to have wet and mud down in the bottoms. I know you're going to have wet mud down in the bottoms. It's just such is life. Come on, people. So, sorry, they were sitting there at a stoplight, not paying attention. Anyway, so how do you prep for this one? With dust and then mud also. I kind of ignore the dust. There won't be enough dust that it's going to inhibit your breathing so much, but having that dust guard, that face guard on that helps filter it out, if that packs up with mud, you're going to be hating life, and it's hard to roll that down once it's up, especially if your helmet's strapped over it. So I will ignore the dust part and prep like I'm prepping for mud. Not much else to go on with that. That's how it is. So we should have Barry Miller going to be out there, and who is it? I think it's Mike Zagel's going to be there. Mike Plank, I think, was going to come. He sent a picture of his machines loaded up on a trailer, so I assume he's going to come, but last I heard was a maybe from him. Who else? Devin Smith will be there, but I don't believe Devin is racing because AXCC is next weekend, and that's kind of his focus series for this year. I think he's just going out to watch and hang out and kind of support the local racer guys. Who else? I don't know. Steve Mueller is not going to be there. I can promise that one. Steve is on a short leash right now because his wife is very much pregnant, and if she doesn't deliver the baby naturally before Tuesday, the day this podcast is released, they are going to, I think C-section is what they're doing, to go get the baby. So, by the time this comes out, little baby, I think baby's name is Maverick, will be out in the world. I still think they should name it Chad. I can't promise he would be very smart, but life would not be dull. So right now, dirt scooters are running. Let's go check them out. Don't you know that bright shirt's likely to get you hit?
Oh, how are you, Chad?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Picture, I got it. Are you racing?
No.
Okay.
Not today.
Not today.
I go to Iowa next week for a race, so.
Crazy.
I got roped into track sweeping. I'm muddy. I don't know who that kid was, but he was looking at me. It's going.
Staying dry?
No. Wasn't planning on doing any track sweeping, but I did.
Is there another creek?
Yeah, backside of the property.
Yeah, is it gnarly?
Well, it's this creek, but it goes way back there. It's not horrible, but the bikes, they just cut deep ruts, and then they just keep going in that same deep rut.
Yeah.
And eventually they just get buried to about the seat, and that's where they stop.
Yeah.
All right, we're here with Andy Bridgewater and Mr. Ryan Hart. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
We stole you away for a few minutes. It's race day and there's race stuff going on outside, so we'll try and keep it pretty brief. Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about the property here? This is one of my favorite tracks that you guys all put on.
Yeah, we are in North Salem, Indiana at the Williams Farm. We race two different locations in North Salem, both on the Williams family. This one's owned by Rob, and the other one is about 5 miles up the road, both located right off of 75. I like the property. It's not a very challenging track at all. There's no great big hills anywhere. There's one creek that we cross in two different spots that holds up pretty well. There are some challenging spots out there today just because of all the mud, but luckily Mother Nature was nice to us, and it's been warm all week, and there's actually some dust in the fields flying, which is odd.
Yeah.
We got a 6 mile track set up for the adults, and 4 miles. How long the UTV track was? A little over 4 mile UTV track. Their track ought to be a fun one to watch. There's a couple good sized hills for them. They cross the creek in the same spot. So.
Yep. I kind of like this track because this is one of the few, and I know it's tough in XC racing, but there's some open room to kind of run for the big side-by-sides. They can really open it up, stretch your legs, and kind of touch the top end of what they do.
Yeah, that's how the ATV and dirt bike track is too. None of it's super tight. It's all wide enough to run side-by-sides on even their track for the most part. It whoops out a little bit just because of the sandy soil, but that also is a good thing because it holds up really well for all conditions.
Yeah.
Typically, this place is extremely dusty, and knock on wood, it's not dusty this year, and it's not terribly muddy. It's really good conditions. So.
Yeah, there's a couple muddy spots down in the low. I mean, I'm dirty, you're dirty, but I mean, it's not it's not horrible through most of it.
No.
It's really not bad.
Yeah, it beats the heck out of walking around with 12-pound boots on.
Yeah.
Like the last 3 races.
Yeah, no kidding. So, Ryan, you run track sweep a lot. You're kind of one of Andy's right-hand men out here, we'll say. So,
say that?
Yeah, we'll say that. So what's your take on, we'll say, this series, helping out? Because I've always kind of been a big proponent of, if you're going to come out to a race, you might as well help. You might as well get involved. You get a kind of behind-the-curtain look of what everything's all about.
MWXC altogether, it's a family event. This is the series we've been running since both my kids started racing. This is my daughter's 4th year, my son's 3rd year, and everybody out there, I mean, they give you the shirt off their back just to help you out.
Yeah.
A lot of the people here, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I completely agree. That's one of the things that draws me to this series more than others, and I'm not saying the others are bad at all, but this one, it's like, you pull up and you have people hollering your name from across the parking lot, just saying, "Hey, how you doing? I hadn't seen you at the last one," or whatever. It's nice to just have that kind of family feel, like you said. You don't have to worry about your kids running around.
Yeah.
Because, if your kid's acting up, somebody's gonna say, "Knock that off," or I'm gonna tell your parents, or whatever. It's just it's kind of like your year-round family is what it is.
Yes.
90% of the time, I couldn't tell you where the kids were.
Yeah.
I'm out on the track, I see them somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
So, Andy, I don't know if you have the answer to this, but I'm going to ask the question. How do you cultivate an environment like that, to have a family environment at a racetrack?
I'm not sure how it all come about. I think it's just because I have such an open door policy. If you want to help and you're willing to help, I'll allow it. And I mean, even young kids help out. If their parents are out working on the track, during the week or even on the weekends, the kids will step right in there and help. And I invite it. If you're willing to step up and even go around and pick up trash to anything from hanging arrows. I got 3 boys. Evan is 11, and he's been helping me hang arrows and work on the track since he's been 4 or 5 years old, and the other 2 are no different. They all started helping, and his kids help. They tie ribbon on the twine in the fields and just anything. And I can't tell you a night where this camper hasn't been filled up with at least 5 kids. I mean, there's always our 3. Sometimes one of ours will be in another camper, but it's just a good family hangout. I've always wondered myself how it becomes such a family, series, but I love it. That's what I pride myself in, is that to see people, there's the Jill Zink, she races, her son races, and her grandson races, and they're all on ATVs, all on the track at the same time. And there's several families like that. Ted Sampson, him and his dad and his boy have all raced at the same time before or the same weekend, I guess. Ted Senior runs dirt bike, and the others race ATVs. So.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing, and like I've said, it's great that you can come out here, you can hang out, meet some people, get involved.
Yep.
It's not like you can't help, you can't be involved in the inside because we're trying to hide something.
Yeah, that's right.
It never feels like you guys are trying to hide anything. You'll fully admit, hey, sometimes we make mistakes, but you're always willing to try and make it better and change too.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I appreciate a lot about this. So. You also told me that you have next round secured up now, and the property is all set up.
Yes,
so
we do.
Why don't you tell us a little about that one?
I went down to, I think it's pronounced Cannon, Indiana, which is down around Madison area. Went through, what in the world's the name of that town? Anyways, it's south, down towards Cincinnati and Madison. Went down there last week and got everything finalized. I've been working on getting a new location on that side of the state for a while, and
because that's closer to home for you.
It's not nowhere's close to Greenfield, but it's just an hour and a half in the other direction. I don't have to take 70, so I'm happy about that. I get so sick and tired of getting my fillings knocked out of my teeth driving up and down 70. It's the roughest road ever, but it's a awesome piece of property. The name is still up in the air. It's I think we're going to call it Black Creek, which is a creek that runs through the property. There, it's 360 acres. There's never been a race on the property, which is awesome for the fact that there isn't going to be a whole lot of existing trails, so it's easier for us to set up a track on a new piece of property because we don't have to worry about, people going down the wrong trail because there aren't any.
Right.
I think on the 300 and some acres, there's maybe 2 miles of old logging roads and stuff like that, and it has 6 ponds on the property. The landowner told us that they were catching 6-pound crappie in one of them.
Wow.
Which, you know how fishing stories go.
Yeah,
it could be
it's a
3-pound
crappie.
Yeah.
He swallowed a few lead sinkers with it.
That's right. Yeah, it's going to be a good one to set up. Our boys will be out of school here in a couple weeks, or next week. Next week is their last week of school, and then I think we're going to go down there and just camp out for a week or so and work on setting up the track. I'll be posting videos as we
What's the
get
date
there.
on that one?
That is June 8th and 9th.
Okay.
There'll be side-by-sides, and everybody will race at
Everybody's
that
there.
one. So
Good deal.
parking's good. It's just a big open field. There's also grass parking if you want. Camp around one of the ponds. It's really, really nice piece of property.
Yeah, it
I'm
sounds like it's
excited.
going to be really nice to
Yes.
get down there and just kind of hang out. It sounds like the property owner has opened it up to where you can kind of use some of the facility there. 'Cause I know some property owners don't want us fishing from their ponds
Right.
and stuff like that, and that's understandable.
Yep.
And no issues with that. But it sounds like they're opening it up to where we can
Yep.
actually do some stuff.
Yeah, just
there.
catch and release on the ponds. Also, if everything works out, the dirt bikes will get to race through a house,
Ah.
and then
Kind of like, what was it, 2 years ago at Ghost Town?
yep,
Yep.
it's a old farmhouse. We got to make sure that the floors are sturdy enough in it. I haven't went inside of it, but he was open to the thought of it. It's he's a real neat guy. He has been a part of a Sandrail Club out of Cincinnati for like 30 some years. He still has dune buggies, so he's really into the off-road world. He was enjoying himself riding around in the Ranger with me.
Yeah. Ah, that's a good thing. So, Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your day consists of as a track sweep? I mean, I've talked about it, but, people want to hear from more than just me.
Start off in the morning, ride the track, make sure everything's set up. If anything's blocked off, it should be blocked off. Get the race going, go out, ride the track again. Get to your first mud hole, you start yanking some quads and bikes out. Then you go on to the next mud hole, same thing. And once the race is over, just ride the track again,
Yep.
pulling people in. Just a lot of riding, a lot of manual labor.
Yeah. But
It's
you
fun,
enjoy
though.
it, I assume.
Oh, I love it. Love every bit of it.
I like being a track sweep because it gets me out there to ride the trails. It's
Yeah.
fun, and you're helping people. You get to
Yes.
meet all kinds of people.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many people, and it's kind of humorous. I end up dragging the same people out over
Yeah.
and over and over again throughout the year. And you start joking with them. It's like, I just pulled you out last round. Can you not break for once? I got other people I got to deal with.
Yeah.
And you
I know
kinda
that feeling
heckle.
all too well.
Yeah. Well, because you raced the side by side there for a little while, and you're kind of getting out of it at this point. But
Retired.
yeah, retiring.
Short-lived.
Yeah, but I mean, you're doing it for a good reason, to focus on your kids racing and do stuff like that.
Yep.
It's smart. It's a way to do it.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
people don't realize how the hours and the physical labor that the track sweepers, well, all of the staff endure. I mean, our registration ladies, they are in there from 7 o'clock in the morning and on Saturday, or sometimes earlier, and then they work throughout the day, and they're not done until 5 or so o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And then the track sweepers and anybody that has anything to do with building the track. Heck, last night me and Ryan and Jason and
Jason.
several other people. Yeah, our medic had come out to help us. He said he was bored, so he'd come out and helped, and we worked on the track. Ryan was on the mower last night, mowing the grass sections for the peewees, so they wouldn't get any surprise stumps or anything. And we worked on the track until 11:30 last night, and that's not uncommon. And I mean, we could let it go. Some of the stuff, like we didn't have to mow any of that.
Right.
We didn't have to do that, but we all enjoy it. It's
Right.
something that it's a labor of love for sure.
Yeah. And it's not uncommon for you and the track sweeps and the people that are on the track to be out there at, 7:30 in the morning, and, you're out there a lot of times, especially on the Saturdays when the side-by-sides are running, 11 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
maybe later,
Yeah.
and then sometimes you hop in the skid steer. I've seen you, and you're out there until 1 in the morning or later, just trying to put the track back together for the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, I always feel bad that the track gets, chewed up real bad by the side-by-sides, and then the youth ATVs or dirt bikes, whoever races that time of year, have to go out and try to fight the ruts that they've, and have to run through with the side-by-side. So we try to smooth it out the best we can. Like, I'll probably be out until 11 or 12 tonight fixing creek crossings just so the ATVs can have a fun track in the morning. So.
Yeah. So that the first ones out aren't stuck. And,
Yeah, they're not going to come back if they can't make a lap. So.
Right. Well, we got trivia for you guys.
All right.
Oh, man.
Oh, Ryan, come on. Everybody loves trivia. I think everybody loves watching other people do trivia is what it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully I do better than last time. Last time Sam made me look like a fool.
We got
Doug
the phone a
didn't-
friend option.
No, we don't do phone a friends.
No lifelines.
No. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
We'll start with Ryan and move down this way. That
Okay.
makes it easy. All right, question number 1. How many pounds of skin does the average human shed in a lifetime?
So 20 pounds.
Okay.
30.
40 pounds. That's a lot.
That's
nuts.
nasty.
It's not- yeah. Alright, question number 2. The Alfred Hitchcock movie Psycho, you guys remember that from the 50s or something, way back when.
Yeah.
You've never even seen, the shower scene?
I've not seen it.
No. Beyond my time.
You guys don't watch the classics. So there's a shower scene. It's kind of the classic Alfred Hitchcock shower scene where it's the guy's stabbing the lady and whatever. What did they use for the blood in that scene? Because, it's back in the 50s. They're trying to just use what they got, and it's all black and white movie.
Ketchup.
Ketchup?
Tomato juice.
Hershey's chocolate syrup.
Black and white makes sense.
Yeah. Didn't have to worry about the color of it necessarily. Alright, question number 3. Why does, we'll say school systems and anyone who's testing for typing tests, why do they use the sentence, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog? You guys ever had to type that back in school? Did you not take typing class? Or
Yeah, I
anything?
did. I don't ever remember typing that.
I got kicked out, so no, I don't.
I couldn't tell you what I did yesterday.
So they do use that, I'll tell you that. Why do they use that sentence?
I'm going to say just the combination of letters.
Okay?
Yeah.
You guys aren't far off, but that sentence uses every letter in the English language.
What's the sentence
The
again?
quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Huh.
So, that's what it says in here.
You're killing it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm saying that one was correct.
You,
Combination of letters.
I'll give you a half point. How's that? Half
Close
point.
enough. Close
You're beating
enough.
me.
Well, you said the same thing, so you get a half point too.
All right.
Both of you got a half point. All right, Twitter, the social media thing, had other name suggestions when they were coming up with it. And one of the major ones that almost won out was this. What was it? Instead of being called Twitter, it's called something else. Or it was going to be called something else.
Tweeter.
Tweeter?
I have no clue.
If it's downtown Indy, be Tweaker.
Twitch.
Actually, that was one of them, but Friend Stalker was the one.
Friend stalker.
That almost seems creepy.
That's fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably pretty true, but I don't know if
Right.
you want to advertise it as that. All right, question number 5. In 1923, a horse jockey named Frank Hayes won his first ever horse race. But what was odd about it? It
was
wasn't
on a
major.
donkey.
It was on a donkey. That would make it odd.
Repeat the question.
Okay, in 1923, Fred Hayes, he was a horse jockey, won his first ever horse race. He was on a horse. But what was odd about it? What was odd about him winning it?
helping him out here. You told him he was on a horse.
Yeah, you want to change your answer? I'll give you
Yeah, he had 3 legs.
the horse or the jockey.
Let's go with the horse.
Okay.
The jockey had 1 leg.
Actually, what was odd about it was he was dead. He died from a heart attack on the horse midway through the track.
And
Never
won?
fell off. The horse just kept going, and he won.
Oh my god. Where do you find these questions?
You don't want to know my search history. You just don't. All right. Question number 6. How old was Sean Connery when he appeared as James Bond the first time?
23.
20.
32.
Really? He looked young.
Yeah. I think it's all these hard years we've been putting in, Andy, that's making us look old.
Yeah, no kidding.
So what we're saying is race series and track sweeps and all that shortens your life up, or at least makes you look old quick.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. Question number 7. How much per acre did the U.S. pay Russia for Alaska?
Say, is it high? Give me a hint here.
It's. I'm gonna say it's pretty low.
Pretty low?
Yeah. I mean, this was way back in the day. I don't remember what year it was, so it's worth more than the.
$500 an acre.
Okay.
I'd say $3 an acre.
2 cents per acre.
What?
Yes.
Huh.
Where are those prices? Where are those prices?
I know.
today?
I will take 1,000 acres now.
Right?
Yes.
All right. Question number 8. What is tattooed on Popeye's arm? Cartoon character.
An anchor?
Okay.
Yeah, it's an acre.
It is an anchor. Very good.
1.5 points.
1.5 points. You guys are doing great. Okay, the loose skin hanging from the neck of a chicken is called what? Like the little flappy bit there.
Gizzard?
Okay.
Gobbler?
It's called a waddle. Gizzards and
Waddle?
inside bits.
At least this was a real part. It's not just a word.
I like chicken gizzards. Chicken gizzards are good.
Alright, question number 10. Last one. What does Seoul, the South Korean capital, mean in the Korean language? So Seoul, South Korea is the capital. What does Seoul, the name of the city, mean?
I got nothing.
Not even a guess?
Not even a guess.
Fearless?
Means the capital.
Well, I win. He didn't even give an answer.
Yeah.
I get that point.
Well, I want to thank you guys both for taking a few minutes out of your day. I know you're busy and, you always got things to do, but I think it's good that we can sit down and kind of show some of the people that are involved in the race series. And, I strongly encourage everybody to come out, at least check out a race, if not getting involved in the race in some way. It's a good way to see what's all going on and see it's not a bunch of hotheads, who are mad at each other out on the track.
Yeah.
I've seen many a time where the rider will give up his race to help somebody out who's hurt or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to thank you guys both and we'll get you guys back out there.
Thank you.
Alright.
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, that wraps up another race day. Michael Plank did pretty good. Man, he was an animal out there, blasting up some of those banks that had just gone away. Colin Jean did really good. Austin Raynard won, so good on him. He ran a smart race. There was a creek jump pro line, I guess you want to call it, and they said it saved a minute. It saved every bit of that. It was a big difference. Second lap, so the first lap, Ashby, guy with the last name of Ashby, He rolled it right there into the creek. They got him out. But basically, nearly no one got to take the creek jump on the first lap. I got there at the start, or at the second lap when they came to the creek jump. David Sauter was in the lead, I believe it looked like anyway, and Austin Raynor decided to take the creek jump, and Sauter decided to go around. Sauter probably got there with 30 seconds before Austin did, and when Austin hit that, yeah, he had an easy 30-second lead on him, and I don't know that David ever caught him again. It was kind of tough because I was skipping around trying to get pictures and stuff like that. Good race, good track. Barry Miller had some problems. He had his power steering was out from the start of the race. Like, he was sitting on the line and it wasn't working. So that was bad. And then I guess he got back in the back where there was a hill and he snapped an axle. So then he was two-wheel drive with no power steering, and he was just there. Matt Hecker also got in the back there and got stuck. Track went away. It's kind of sandy-ish, clay-ish ground, depending where you are on the property. Down by the river, the creek, it's a lot of sand, and it just goes away in a hurry. And they just dug ruts. So the X3s, which sit naturally low anyway, it just got down there and they all were having trouble. So it is what it is. Good race though. I think about 16 on the line. Not as many as we'd hoped for, but better than nothing. So I'm going to try and wrap it up here while I'm driving. I want to say a big thanks to our title sponsor, CW Motorsports. Thank you guys. If you guys are looking for any kind of razor parts, they're definitely the ones to get a hold of. New, used, whatever you need, they got you covered. Go ahead and get a hold of the guys and gals there at CW Motorsports. We also want to thank Watch Communications. They're hosting this podcast, and they are hosting all of our website stuff. And we want to thank TGM Off-Road. If you guys look them up, Railroad Tracks. Look up TGM Off-Road on Facebook. Great group of guys. And also Spang's Fab. If you're looking for any kind of cage bumpers, A-arms, radius rods, whatever, they're definitely the ones that can do it. And they're branching out into doing more things, I hear. So keep an ear out for that kind of stuff. If you're wanting to find us, definitely look us up on our Facebook and Instagram. That is where we are most active. And we try to post there at least every couple days or so. You'll find us on Facebook at Eminent Racing, and on Instagram at Eminent Racing. YouTube, which is where this will be, is you'll find us at Eminent Performance. And yeah, that's close enough. We're going to say that's good. If I missed anything, it's my own stuff, so that's fine. Huge thanks, Andy Bridgewater, for being on the podcast with Ryan Hart. Great guys, great series. Definitely check them out if you guys are looking for a series to go call your race series, your home series, whatever you want to call it. Good group of people. Definitely someone to check out. Come hang out, check it out. We try and make it to all the races that we can, but the schedule just fills up. So that's all we got for you. And no matter what happens at each of your signs telling me, no matter which sign tells you you're going too fast in a small town, thanks for riding along with us, guys.
Tired of screwing up, tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.